Do the first thing I do. Okay. Well, welcome to French Press Friday. This is actually our second take on this because I forgot to press the record button. We're here with Claire Larson from Kenyon-Wanamingo. Thank you for joining us, Claire.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep. And we were just talking about my wonderful mustache, and the reason that I'm growing it is not because I'm losing my mind. It's because trying to participate in Movember and raise some awareness for men's health issues. So no, please don't comment on my mustache and hurt my feelings, anybody that's out there. I will leave a link if anybody wants to donate to my campaign. I haven't done a good job about promoting it, but I'll have it in the description. Also, I would just do a little plug for my channel because I've found that 80% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribers. And so I would just plug you to go down now on this video and subscribe. But we're going to forget all that, and we're going to talk about things in Kenyon-Wanamingo, where Claire Larson is the only band director at a 512 program.
That's correct. I have about 200 students in our program. And there's the middle school, high school is in Kenyon, and the elementary school is in Wanamingo. So I don't have to travel because 5 through 12 is here. But yeah, it's just a great place to work, a great place to be, and love my job. So
I think that there's something special about those programs that are 512. I'm sure that you would speak to that too, the type of relationships you're able to develop with students. I would guess that you have very strong bonds with your students.
I absolutely do. When they graduate, it's very difficult to say goodbye because you've had them. They're like your own children. And I just find that investment in them, I want to keep that relationship going when they get on to college. And I do follow all of my students, on Instagram, and I occasionally will text them and send them a little, Snapchat when I'm thinking about them. So yeah, I just was cleaning up my office and I found this little note from one of my students like 3 years ago. And hey, Mrs. Larson, have a fabulous day. And she would leave little notes right around my office. I'm like, boy, I really needed that today. So that was awesome, Sydney.
Those are precious. I'm assuming you have a special place for those somewhere.
I do. Yep. I have a positivity folder in my email. So like if I'm feeling sad, I'm going to go to that positivity folder. And I do keep like all those little special notes in a little scrapbook. So
I've felt that this year we really need that, like everybody, myself included. So I'm trying to put that in hyperdrive, and I have a bulletin board that's meant for kids to leave positive messages for each other. And I put stuff up for the kids as much as I can.
That's great.
It's been really awesome. Like I've had kids reach out to me and say like, oh, I needed that so bad today.
Right.
And I think that, probably in normal year we need that, but especially this year. We're in a hybrid situation with our 7 through 12 and full, online or face-to-face every day with K6. What's your situation, your teaching situation?
Well, we started in hybrid and we were able to get a concert out the door and everything, which I can talk about later, but we just shifted to online like a week ago. So we are online 7 through 12. And we were hybrid K through 6, but now we just found out today that K through 6 will go completely online as well. So our numbers are really spiking here. So it's been just an evolution, like, oh, this is our plan. Oh, that's not our plan. Now this is our new plan. And it's such a challenge for everyone to keep up to speed with what is the plan now.
Yeah.
So
our district has committed to try not to jump back and forth at all. And so even though our county numbers are high, they're talking to the hospital and looking at our school numbers. And we're still staying hybrid, but it could happen at any point in time for us. What was that transition like for you? Was it difficult? Did you have a plan laid out with the kids for what was going to happen?
Well, I think from the very first day I sent home with them, like, this is what our plan is when we're in hybrid. And if we go online, this is what we're going to do. But I did have a brief meeting with everybody on Wednesday and told them this is our plan going forward. And one of the things, I know that you'll have band directors watching, but I kind of feel like I'm a parent, so I have 2 high schoolers at my house. And I really see the inside view of what they're going through and how much work they have. And that workload is overwhelming when you're putting in multiple hours for one class every day. So I have engaged with my leadership and my high school band, and I've told them always, let's this is my plan. How does this sound to you? Does that sound like something that you're invested in? You know, do you have any other ideas? And then I say, you know, is this too much work? Is it not enough? And I gauge their feedback, so I know that they're on board. And they're always very honest with me. So I feel like we have a great plan going forward. And I'm very positive.
I would stress that with teachers is to communicate with their students, because I've done the same thing, and it's helped me dial in what we're going to do to like fit the students and still have this be a productive experience for them.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that communication is good. And I would like to add too that we have a great opportunity to teach students what music can do for us in these situations when we're stressed, and
Right.
what we can turn to. So
yeah, I think I went and listened to one of your previous French Press Fridays, and I heard you say something like you were waffling on how much work to give them, and you said, but you know, music is supposed to help us during this time also, and we can that should be therapeutic, right? And I had heard on the news the other day someone from the Country Music Awards say, music is what's going to help us get through this. So when I think about what I'm assigning to my kids, especially 7th through 12th graders, is giving them work that is gratifying to them artistically.
yes.
Always having them play. But I know, like at the high school, we're going to make a SoundCloud playlist of music that we can share with our families. And some of them will just be simple, like, you know, solos from the Play a Song, a Christmas Book with accompaniment. But like my trombones were like, could we do Carry On My Wayward Son? And I'm like, why not? Because anything that people want to do now, I will hold no judgment on anything that people want to do. I'm not going to push my agenda on them. If that brings them happiness, then I'm all in, you know?
Yeah.
So
we are of like mind there too, because I've said the same thing, kind of trying to lay some of the groundwork for, we're potentially going to be distance learning here in the near future, I think. And telling the kids like, here, I'm going to provide you with these things, but if you got something else you want to do, like I had a kid that was really into Pokemon music, and I was like, okay, let's find it and work with it. And yeah, so I think that's terrific. So I'm kind of curious, like what in your, besides switching teaching models, what has been a hardship this year? What have you struggled with?
Well, teaching students who are completely online all the time is a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, I am very lucky that I had my 5th grade band students who I had them for 9 weeks. So I had most of them, they know 6 to 7 notes. Well, 6 to 7 notes when you're 11 years old is a lot of notes. Yeah. And that's a fantastic foundation. But, you know, it's a challenge when you don't, the kids that are not in class every day, getting them fully plugged in, and they're asynchronous, they're synchronous, but we're like in band, but they're on the Google Meet. Very challenging to engage while you're directing, 25 people here and 4 people at home, Yeah. That's been a challenge. Also a challenge is the shifting models, or like trying music, and I'm like, that's not going to work. You realize right away, oh, that's not going to work. Abort plan, new plan. And so it's a constant creativity thing happening up in the brain. Like, okay, what can I do? What can I do that would be, that's going to work with this group? So we've gone through quite a few different things, and it landed with stuff that's been successful. So
what are you having success with flex music or traditional scored music?
So we started out the year doing a plan that I was going to bring my 7th through 12th graders together, and we would put on a marching band show. So we could actually work outside. We were rehearsing outside on bleachers, spread out, and that would allow us to all feel safe and continue to play. So, and wrapping up those 7th graders with the high schoolers was just musically a great idea. So we found some great little tunes, Don't Stop Believing and pep band tunes that we could, that they could play along with. And then the day of our concert was that huge snowstorm in like mid-October. And we're like, wow, this is not good luck. So we ended up putting on the performance in the gym. and we live streamed it, and we had the parents, they could watch, and we couldn't have the students, and we couldn't have the student body in the gym because we were at like a quarter capacity just with the band. So that was homecoming week, and we were able to really put on a decent show. But I wrapped them up. Here's a little picture. They're all masked, and but that's the band, and we were able to put on that show on October 23rd in the middle of a snowstorm and a pandemic, all very safely done. But yeah, so that was a good idea to wrap them up with the high schoolers. Otherwise, I've transcribed stuff, like I've transcribed some 4-part hymns and things of that nature to work on just 4-part playing. And we were going to make some care packages, musical care packages for our community. We wrote some letters for the nursing home residents. So we're really trying to engage with the community, but it's definitely been a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that you're hitting on some things that I hear a lot is like, we're finding ways to engage with our community,
Mm-hmm.
Getting creative, because we know, one, that our community wants to see it, and two, that we as creative artists get something out of that too. It would be great to do it face to face, but hey, we can package it and send it to you too, right?
Sure. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, we didn't get a good start to the school year. As far as getting to play, I didn't have all the mitigation things in place, so we didn't play for the first 3 weeks. So we're just kind of getting ready with some music. We've got a concert date technically on the 23rd that I'm going to turn into like a live or a streamed rehearsal,
Sure.
because I'll get our 2 hybrid groups together, and I think that's how I'm going to try to tackle that first performance and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Although we did record with one of my high school groups for Veterans Day, and there was so much energy and excitement when they got together.
Yes.
For the first time. Yeah.
Just never take that for granted ever again,
Yeah.
And the thing with kids, especially if they're like a new freshman in the high school band, like they don't realize that the band is like 70 people, and now you're sitting with half the band here in this little cohort. So it's just like, they have been just incredibly positive, and they like all of my switches. Oh, we're not doing that. They're just like, whatever. Okay, we'll just go with it. And that is kind of the nature of my students. No complaining, no like, what are you doing? Just roll with it. They've been great.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say, I'm guessing that it is reflected in your leadership, that the kids trust and believe in you. And so if they do trust and believe in you, those transitions are going to be much easier. So
Right.
Okay, so I'm curious then, like, how about something positive that you've either encountered this week or just through this experience? Like, has there been anything real positive that's come out?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because it's really important to focus on the positive when there's a lot of, other
Mm-hmm.
other feelings out there. On Veterans Day, we normally do a straight up awesome veterans program with our local vets, and have a special showcase tune and honor them. And this year we couldn't do it. We were already remote. And yet 2 of my trumpet players, 2 of my leads in the high school band were like, we're going to go down and play taps at the Veterans Wall. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. So I quickly texted a couple people that knew the vets. And I said, I just wanted to let you know that there's going to be some trumpet players down there playing taps. And I snuck out just to see them, because I'm like, oh, this is really awesome. And they played taps down there. And what do you know, in that parking lot by the veterans home, many people stayed in their trucks, but there were easily 15 to 20 vets there that just came out to hear these trumpets play and honor them. And, we're sad. Our traditions, how we honor that day, couldn't really go on. But in a very small way, my students really stepped up to support the local veterans. So
That's fantastic. Have you found, is there any teaching strategy that either you just like to share with us in general, anything that you found successful, is, maybe even especially looking at the distance learning or hybrid, is there anything that really you found successful?
Yeah, what I will say is that I like to give more of an ongoing project. So like I really dislike consistent grading because it's just so hard and you want kids to be able to be successful. So performance is always part of what I want them to do. I want them to continue to engage with their instruments, so that there's usually an ongoing project, like a performance project. Take 4 weeks, produce this recording with a thumbnail, send it to me, or a video. And then I always have a different part, and I like to call it like choose your own adventure. So here are 3 different projects. Which one would you like to do? And then they have some investment in, you know, this one seems more like what I'm interested in rather than these 3. So choose your own adventure and a performance project will always be how I roll, you know, so that I'm not dictating what I think kids need to do. But I mean, the performance part is why we do music. We love to play. But the other part I think is equally valuable to allow kids an investment in their education.
Yeah. I'm smirking because like I really actually don't know you that well. You know, we've met a few times via
Right.
MMEA stuff. And there's been so many times I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I do. And so
Right.
that's one thing, especially going into distance learning. I told the kids, like, I'm going to provide you with some categories, but I want you to pick the thing that fits you.
Right. Yeah.
And like a lot of stuff, I think we often, when we do that, we find that kids pick the project that one obviously interests them, but that
Right.
sometimes is challenging. Like it's the more challenging thing.
Right. And then the other thing I did last spring, and I don't have this set up before like December 20th, but I always had an advanced track. Like if you feel like I'm not challenging you enough and you want to take the advanced track, I'm going to provide you that extra instruction, you know, more music theory related, sight reading and advanced meters. So come January, definitely we'll have an advanced track for people that want to push themselves. And then the kids that are maybe feeling overwhelmed, we'll have a different track for them, different things that they want to do. And I'm not going to tell them what track they need to be in. They can elect whatever one they want.
I love that. I'm writing that down right now in my notes to
Yeah.
create an advanced track for kids, because that's kind of where I feel like there's some kids that want that harder. There's I would say maybe most of my kids, they're okay with things where they're at,
Yeah.
but there are some kids that are hungry for more. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
How about the next week? Is there anything particular you're looking forward to in the next week or 2 weeks down the road here?
Well, on next week, I'll be presenting my like my performance projects for my 7th through 12th graders, and that's what they're going to be doing. They'll start working on their solos or ensembles, and then with our Choose Your Own Adventure, they don't know this yet, but the 3 options for this until December or however long this unit will be. Is to create a TikTok video. We want to have a TikTok presence now because we're apart and social media brings us together. So we've established a band TikTok account, and this is something foreign to me, kind of. So I'm going to need students' engagement with that. Also, we have the option of students who want to be engaged in the MMEA. I know you're aware that we're going to be we're going to be one of the featured groups at the MMEA performance. So that is another one that they can choose to be like interviewing people, taking videos, things of that nature. And oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on the 3rd option. I will come up with it in just a second. But those are 2 of the 3 options that they could choose to do. So
Okay. I'm so glad you mentioned MMEA. This would be a smooth transition to like just talking about MMEA. So here's my first question. What made you want to do MMEA during a pandemic?
well, we applied for MMEA like before we knew that this pandemic was going to be an issue this year, right? So I'm sure you understand, like when your band is high and your band is at a high point, you're like, I'm going to sell that everywhere because our band is just peaking. You know, we have fantastic musicians and awesome balance and energy and creativity and investment. And I'm like, this is the year. And the cool thing about our school district is that our choir and band and our elementary music program, we're all just very much, it's a collaboration, and we celebrate our kids being engaged in everything. So many of our band students will do choir as well. So this performance is actually going to be a spotlight on our entire music program, not just the band program,
Oh,
so a band and the vocal component as well. So we're doing more of a promo video. Like, here is our music, here is our city, here is our community, and now here's our music program. And these are a kind of an inside view of our students and how they, and what they do at our school. In fact, when I reached out to you several weeks ago, because I love that picture you put out, I said, your community is just like mine, where your students are not just band members. They're members of the basketball team. They're the quarterback of the football team. They're in drama, and they're in choir, and they're in the FFA. Am I correct? What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, totally. I mean, when we did that picture, we joked about how we could have some kids standing there with their choir robe on, holding their trombone and their cello, and with their, FFA hat and their student council, whatever. And I mean, like, yeah, they're heavily involved. Yeah, so that, and we like, that's why we did that picture, and we're going to keep on doing it, because we wanted to share that too, because we think that that brings so much to their lives, and
Absolutely.
music is a part of that.
Right. I totally get it. And the students in our band program wear many hats, and they're not just star instrumentalists, but they are seriously like the star quarterback, and they're the A honor roll and the triple A, and they're just incredibly successful in all domains. And we celebrate that. And we like to say to people, you don't have to choose between music and sports. You can do everything. And that is the beauty of a smaller school, where at larger schools, you have to specialize at a younger age. And then that leaves very little time to pursue some of your other interests.
Yeah. I have a student at Concordia College right now that she seemed like she was during high school, maybe even stretched too thin, because she did a lot of stuff. She, in addition to clarinet, she played cello, and she was in piano, and she did Girl Scouts. And now that she's at Concordia, she's focusing on band and clarinet. And I was concerned about, that she was maybe not as advanced, but because she had all those experiences, she is like super focused right now, and being like, she's really successful. She's in the top band there already as a freshman. So I think that there is something to be said about those experiences. It's probably a lot like athletes that, do multiple sports, is like that's a good thing to do for your body and your
Sure.
brain, I guess.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that you're presenting your concert as kind of like a presentation of your community. What is your band's role going to be? Like, is there going to be a piece or two from the band?
You know what? I think I'm going to use the band as, I'm going to have, like, it's going to be partially a soundtrack to our, I don't know, our community engagement. We're going to have interviews with different community members, but we will definitely have little snippets of our performances. So, I won't do an entire, we have not really had the ability to have an entire performance except for our pep band, our marching band on the 23rd.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to highlight, Seven Nation Army, performance. I mean, it's going to be a promo video. It's just going to show the entire music program, and I'm going to show the breadth and depth of it, like from my little 5th grade band members to the high school band and the choir, and kind of celebrating the unique spirit we have in Kenyon-Wanamingo with our students who really do everything and do it well.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I've actually thought about that before, because I feel very much the same way about our program, that we've just have this deep program with all of our, whether it's band, choir, orchestra, and general music. And I'm like, how would I ever bring that all to Minneapolis? But this is it. This is how you can do it.
Yep. And it's it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for us to really show what we do in Kenyon-Wanamingo. And unfortunately, it's not going to be an ability to actually play for the group. But I also think it's going to be real. And we're going to show how the adaptations that we've made with COVID, that's going to be part of it. I mean, you can't ignore that. Like, how have we adjusted? And so, and I will say, it's going to be an iMovie. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of resources, but both of my colleague and myself, we both have a Mac, and we're going to do different parts, and we're going to make a quality production that, that fits us, so
Yeah.
hopefully people appreciate that. So
Well, I've got some experience in iMovie, so if you ever want to reach out, please don't hesitate. Most often, I'll probably direct you to the YouTube video that I watched that showed me how to do it. But
oh, I've done tons of iMovies. I mean,
okay,
I love it. I mean, I'm a total Mac girl, so I'm just like, I'm all about
great.
using GarageBand and all that good stuff. So we'll get something together. So
Well, we're gonna wrap up here, but I'm seeing in the back, I see a St. Olaf College flag, and it's just so funny because I was getting my notes ready this morning, and I try to remember, like, okay, so I think that we met because I think we were section coaches
that's
during yeah, during All State
all state.
one. Yeah, I gave that up a while ago, and if you like it, don't ever give it up because it's hard to get back on.
And I was thinking back then too. I think it was 2009, and I think it
Yep.
was at UMD. Am I correct?
Yes, that's
That's
it.
how I remember you too. So
Well, and yeah, and so I was like, okay, so what do I know about Claire? I know she's a Kenyon-Wanamingo. We did all-state band. French horn, am I correct? You're a French horn player. And then for some reason, I'm like, I know she went to St. Olaf, but I'm like, how would I ever know that she went to St. Olaf? So that stuck in my brain for some reason. It could be because I'm a cobber. I don't know. Well, Claire, thank you so much for spending some time. I know it could be rough on a Friday when we just maybe want to get home, but I think these conversations are really helpful for people.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking the initiative to run a Friday YouTube video for band directors and just people that want to know how the music world is reacting during these very crazy times. So
Yeah, thank you so much.
thanks, Scott.
Okay.